Hey, this is Rashawn with Mainland Media, jumping back into this mix of the Ballad of the Bald Eagle. Just wanted to do this touch up on these guitars like we talked about. So basically, transient shaping is the idea of taking the initial touch that is on the guitar for where you actually play stuff. And we're just going to move them onto the line, so we're going to massage them into place so that it'll be more succinct. So I'm just going to grab the bend tool right here, and you're just going to see me do it like this. Now, once I get the one guitar part done, I'm going to go back and do the other one. So it'll take a little minute, but that's okay. A lot of these I'm just moving onto the line. And honestly, okay, so if I'm keeping it a buck, sometimes what I'll do is I'll do like two of them at a time, and that way I can line, because these are essentially all lined up together. So like I can line them both up at the same time. So that's what we're going to do here. It's just going to make it go a little bit faster because it's everything for both of the guitar parts that I'm doing at the same time. So it's just these two lines that we're affecting. And we're just going to go down the line and just try to get everything in place. So we see how that one's weird. So when that happens, usually what I'll do is I'll completely cut that one off and just move that one over. But yeah, and the thing is, we're actually doing a lot to affect these touches, because if they touch in the same place, then it eliminates the multiple different touches in the multiple different places, and so it goes from your guitar chops or like the transients when you play them, it takes them from being like a nebulous like 5 or 6 different strokes, and it lines them all up so it's one more powerful stroke, and that actually puts the timing in a more solid place. So if I just start with where I started from right here, and we mute everything else and just go back to this, just listen to how these parts now sound together. So there are places where they're together, but they need to be together and on the beat, and that's kind of what we're doing. So if you see, I'm going back through and I'm just putting these on the line. It's not, and this is the funny thing, is that it seems like it's like a lot of area, but it's really not. These chops, or these cuts in the grid, are 64th notes. That is 1/4 of a 16th note. So we're talking about a very tiny amount of time, but enough so that if it's off, you can hear it and you can tell, and it doesn't always sound amazing. But this is one of those really, really fine-tuning kind of things that when you fix it, it's something that, like, if you're actually doing it, then you get it, but not everybody necessarily will automatically hear what you're doing. However, I will say this, and we'll probably get into this during this episode here, but there are sometimes when you shape things where to look at it, you can't necessarily tell whether it's on, but you can listen to it and you can tell when it's off. And so we have these as a guide to kind of help us get everything back on track. And so that's kind of what we're doing and why. And I know I just kind of did this chunk to, what are we doing, 16, 18? I don't know. Anyway, all right, let's keep on moving. Alright, I'm just double checking these all before I zoom out and listen back. Yeah, we went to 17 is what it was. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to come play with these over here. This is another one of those weird ones, right? So I'm going to just nix that out. And then because they're on the back side of it, I'll move these over. Now, here's the cool thing about all of this transient shaping is I know somebody's probably looking at this or they're watching me do this, and I'm zooming through and it's like, well, how do you know which ones to move and where, and how do you know how much to move them? That was an extra one. The answer is this. We're going to just kind of see if we can find the lines. And the thing is, you'll start by shaping it and putting it where you think it'll go. But the best thing that you can do to tell you whether it's right or wrong is literally just to listen to it. So you'll see me move some stuff around, but what I'm actually getting to is I'm going to end up listening back to it. Okay, so this is a crossfade situation. These have a whole other situation happening to them. I'm going to listen to this whole chunk right here, and then we'll go back if we need to. So let's go ahead and start at 14 and listen through to 17. All right, so that boom, right? So that's a pitch bend is right there. But all of that sounded good. So let's see what it sounds like with a metronome. All right, so that sounded pretty solid. Okay, so let's back it up, back that thing up like a U-Haul truck. And we'll do this section. And oh, okay, let me fix that actually. So here's what we're gonna do, because these are all crossfaded. They will remain crossfaded. I'm just gonna move these out, and then I'm gonna go to my transient detection situation, right? And you see how all these are like just extra ones you can't really do anything with. So I'm just gonna get rid of them. And then the ones that are there, I'm just gonna move onto the beat. And then after I do that, I'm gonna go back up to the regular one. I'm gonna grab both of these and I'm gonna move those crossfades right back where they were. It's gonna clean that part up and it'll put all that just right on the beat. Right, so see? Alright, so now that that's on, I'm gonna jump in here and I'm gonna just start moving stuff. Now these are extras. I'm gonna get rid of those. And I'm gonna put these on a line. But yeah, you really just kind of do this maybe 2 or 3 measures at a time. A lot of it, I mean, most of it you don't really need to mess with. If you're going for more specific things, then obviously that's going to be the way to go. Yeah, so I'm going to just, remove that one. And ultimately, when you get these finished and straightened out, they should, for the most part, all kind of have a place to hang out. Now, these are 2 different ones. If you look here, what I'm doing, this is guitar room, guitar line. So I line in the guitar, and then I also have the room playing. So this is 2 versions of the same take. So all of the transients should technically be in the same place because it's the same performance, right? So if they're not in the same place, we should put them in the same place because they should be in the same place, right? So that's essentially what we're doing, is just making the takes line up. And of course, when they're listening, they can't all listen the same because one is inside the computer, one is not in the computer but in the room and has to wait on the rest of the information to come back, i.e. echoes and stuff. So anyway, this is kind of what you have, but we're basically just going through and making sure that everything that's on beat sits on beat, and that way it will translate to cleaner chops and ultimately a cleaner sounding performance, which is definitely what we want. Now again, these look like huge chunks of time, but they are really not. Each one of these lines in the grid is a 64th note, so that's not a very big piece of information. Yeah, so oh, there's no line there. Okay, well, let's move it forward and see what happens. Alright, just 2 more measures, and then we're going to jump back and see what it sounds like. But essentially we do that for all of the sections, and then once we've done all the transient shaping, we listen to everything to see where everything touches and make sure that all the transients sound like they're in the right place. And once we have that, it's all good. All good in the hood, blurp, blurp, blurp. I got a feeling. Woo! Yeah, no, terrible, right? And I'm a singer. Can you believe it? Actually, I don't know my nose up because I feel like that's a transient. You see how that transient should be there. So here's something I want to do. Wait, I'm gonna get rid of that one. But you see, it was like right there, and I'm gonna pull that on. But then the one down here, it's like right there, and I'm gonna pull that one on. There, now they kind of line up, right? So yeah, just a few more, and then we're gonna check it, and that. Oh, alright, almost finished. Alright, we're almost ready to listen back. Actually, yeah, let's go for it. Okay, so now we're gonna do. That sounded a little early. Sounded a little early, right? Listen. So I propose. That was a little early. Let's see if that fixes it. Okay, so now let's jump in and fix this one real quick because I think we left off at 18. So I'm going to change that to the arrow tool, right? Arrow tool, arrowverse. I know. Alright, so now that that's exposed, I'm going to get my bend tool, make sure that's on, make sure that's on, and then we're just going to kill these things because we're not going to need them. And then put these jokers right back where they was. And you can hear it in some places, it sounds like two. That's because they're not lined up, but that's okay. Because I done did it. Yeah, so like if I do it 1 verse 1 verse 2, right, okay, so then, right, so that part detect transients. So then for this one, Alright, so I've been kind of silent here, but I'm just trying to get this thing done. Not a ton of time, not a ton of time. So I'm just trying to be as industrious as I can with the time I have. Alright, so let's see, we're at 26. And again, just really trying to clean this up. Oh, listen, I gotta get some edits in, baby. But yeah, we're cleaning it up. Alright, yeah. So some of these, um, experimenting, but I have a little bit more experience dealing with these. So let's go ahead and listen. See, that's a big strum right there. it's cool because like I can legit play an hour and a half with fucking accompaniment and everything. I don't know how to be doing it. I'm saying there ain't a lot of people doing that. Alright, so that sounds pretty clean. We're gonna leave it right there for a minute and we'll get back into them tunes when we come back. But anyway, this is how you do transient shaping. It can be a very annoying and long drawn out process, but your guitars sound way cleaner than when you do. And once you get that set, it definitely makes moving with percussion that much easier. So check out the djembe and the guitar now. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the metronome. See, this way, now that you move the transients around, now they all complement each other. So now they're working together. There's a conversation happening. It's a little dance. And see, this is really where you're trying to get to, where your track is kind of talking, like the different pieces are talking to each other. So now every time I slide something in, it should still all be a part of the conversation. I start from over here, right? Because I only really did this section. Anyway, that thing is sounding beautiful. All right, so Like I said, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Mainland.